Hi everybody, this is Charles Morgan from Comic Week. It's Thursday, October 3rd, 2019, and I hope you guys had a great new comic book day and were able to pick up all those comics that you had on your pull list, plus some cool variant covers. I'm recovering after putting our video together, which we do every Wednesday with our friends at Alpha Comics, but I made my rounds around the different shops in Central Virginia and found all the comic books I had on my pull list for the week, and I wanted to share with you what I picked up. So I'm going to start off with Batman number 80. Of course, this is the A cover. The variant cover was picked up this week by Key Collector Comics, but I'm not really a big horror title fan when it comes to making vampire versions of regular superheroes. I like anytime Catwoman's on the cover with Batman, it's good. I will say, though, having read it, I was kind of disappointed I didn't see a lot more Catwoman in Batman's attempt to retake Gotham as I expected. The last few issues were sort of like a Magnum PI episode as the two of them were relaxing on the beach. But there's a very interesting cliffhanger. And of course, all comic books come with cliffhangers. So I was glad I picked this up. Of course, Tom King only has 5 more issues left in his run before he's done for his run on Batman and a new creative team takes over. I hope they have a similar take on Catwoman because I do like what King has done with that character. I got Lois Lane, number 4. Again, this is also the A cover. You know, I'm not against getting the stock card variants or the variant covers for DC titles, but they have to really appeal to me. And this week's issue didn't appeal to me on the B cover. I don't want to pay $1 extra just to have it. So I got the A cover, which isn't that great either, to be honest with you. But I have enjoyed the Lois Lane title so far. I think that and Jimmy Olsen were 2 big surprises for me in 2019. I never thought I would be buying either one of those titles, and I've enjoyed both. I was lucky enough to get the Aaron Kuder character variant here, Ghost Rider number 1. I'm not a huge Ghost Rider fan. Again, I'll be honest with you. I grew up in the 1990s. Ghost Rider came back pretty big in the 90s, but it wasn't really my kind of thing. I liked other titles at the time, and I just never grew into it. I'm sure it's a cool comic and a lot of fans out there, and I don't want to besmirch it or anybody who likes it. It just isn't something that I usually read, but I did check this out. I thought it was pretty good, and we'll see if the mood strikes me right next month to pick up issue number 2. Of course, I finished my House of X run with this variant. I don't really think you could go wrong with any of the covers this week. They're all pretty nice. But I will say I'm getting kind of fatigued, to be honest, of the weekly release of the House of X, Powers of X storyline. I think that it's not necessarily great for comic book shops. I think it takes away from other titles. And I wish Marvel would have had the patience to run these out like once a month so that, you know, they would be able to build up anticipation and tell a story without making people choose between picking up this title every week and maybe some other titles that were on the market. But anyway, this is the sixth issue, and this is the cover I chose this week. If you watched our weekly Comic Week video with New Comic Book Day, you know I talked about this title. This is Man-Eaters number 12. Ignore this price tag. I've run out of poly bags for my reader copies. I use poly bags, and for the ones I like to keep really nice, I use Mylars. So I reuse this. I bought an issue of Coyote. Paid like $24 for it. It was McFarlane's first cover, and it is in super crisp gem. And anyway, I put that in a Mylar, a heavy 4mm Mylar, and I put this in here. I didn't read all of the Man-Eaters titles. I probably read 4 or 5 of them. Again, it's a non-narrative comic, so I think what you get out of it is just based on whether or not you like the gags and the cultural references and the feminism, which isn't for everybody. But I did like the little sequence with the Susan B. Anthony dollars. That's why I picked it up. I actually have a sub-collection of comics that have numismatic themes or coins or stuff in it because I'm a firm believer that, you know, comic books used to be a primary vector to get people into coin collecting, and I want to demonstrate this to the coin collecting market that numismatic topics are still discussed in comic books. You may be a comic book collector and have no idea what I'm talking about or don't even care, but there is a certain segment of collector who will cross over from one genre of collecting to others, and I think that it's like a gene we share when we collect things. On to Image. So, of course, I picked up Copra number 1. I'm very lucky that I was able to get a copy of Copra number 1, the original, which was limited to 400 pieces. I ended up getting one of those in a nice low CGC holder. They're quite scarce. I think only 400 were made, but I look forward to continuing this saga in the new Image title, which is available for wider release. And I think in an upcoming project I'm working on, I think I'll have more to say about Copra as a title. I picked up the variant cover of die number 8. I thought the darker cover that came out, the A cover, is a little bit boring, so I picked up the B variant, which has this nice white background. And I think die's been pretty good. The first story arc, there was a hiatus that the series went on, and I don't know if it's really picked up the popular or picked up on the momentum it had before the hiatus. I honestly think that something really big has to happen in the series to draw fans back. I'll take a wait and see on that. I think the premise was great, but where do you go after you sort of executed the premise in the expositional arc? So, Space Bandits is a title that is very quirky sci-fi revenge tale. Last month there was a 75-cent variant which I picked up, and this month there was a 75-cent variant. Pretty sure I paid $4 for it, as you probably should. But I find it interesting that they have that retro price point variant. And I only saw one of these when I made my rounds across all the stores. So either other collectors like these also, or maybe they're a little less common than I thought they might be. I got the first issue of Nomen Omen, but I got this cool variant cover. Again, the main cover was okay, but it wasn't really as nice, in my opinion, as this one. This kind of reminds me a little bit of that first Reaver cover, which I thought was really cool, and one of the reasons that comic book got hot. I don't know how much demand there'll be for Nomen Omen. It's sort of a witchcrafty kind of supernatural story, but I think this is a cool cover, and I'm glad I bought it. Another series that I don't think anybody is reading and has, according to Comicron, has very low print runs is IDW's Star Pig. This is the third issue of the series. I don't know if there's any retailer incentive variant covers, but I don't know any retailer in my area who's ordered more than one or two of these. I usually ask the folks at Alpha Comics just to give me their copy because they might order one, and I think I'm the only person who ever asks or buy them. So anyway, here's Star Pig number 3. I think this is probably going to have a print run around 1,000. So this is like buying a store exclusive variant of a popular comic, except it's the actual comic. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go up in value. And this isn't a big spec on my part. It's like a $4 gig to support a little comic, which I think is cute and has a nice premise, understanding that it may not go anywhere. And I like this sort of like ridiculousness of the covers. So anyway, there's Star Pig number 3. Go check it out if you can find one. I got lucky, really lucky, and I got, for the second issue in a row, I was able to land a 1 in 10 retailer incentive variant of Kanto, one of my favorite new series from IDW. The first couple issues caught people by surprise and sold out because there wasn't a lot of pre-sale buzz about it. But since then, I think retailers are stocking more heavily, so the later issues are going to be more common. Pretty much every comic book shop I went to had multiple copies of this, and I don't, not necessarily the retailer incentive, but at least 6, 8 copies of the regular comic or more. So this retailer incentive variant, I'm sure, is going to be more plentiful than the others that came out earlier in the series. I have personally not seen the incentive variant for the first 3 issues in person. I've only seen them online, offered on eBay for quite a bit of money, $70, $80 for the first one. Also, you know that I'm a fan of Aubrey Sitterson's No One Left to Fight, so I got the current issue which came out, which I think is, again, it's really cool. I love the story. It took Aubrey and his creative team almost a year to put this together for these 6 issues. Hopefully they'll see to it to continue the story after the first story arc, or the only story arc, wraps up next month. Also, I picked up Dead End Kids number 3. This is the last of this series. This was kind of a scarce thing from Source Point Press. It's an okay story. I think I liked it a lot better more than The Love She Offered, which also ended this week, and I thought that was a terrible story with one of the worst plot twists I've ever read. I don't usually like trashing comics, and I'm not really negative, but I just did not enjoy it, and I don't see what the buzz was all about. I don't see how that story is going to be like optioned to some TV or movie deal. I just think speculators went crazy about it because it was a low print comic with a little violent story. This has been a little bit better, I think, although it's not, one of my top reads of the month. And finally, I got, this isn't something I got locally, but it came in the mail all the way from Australia. This is the Ash Mahdi exclusive variant of Unnatural number 12, signed by Ash at the bottom. I think this was like $24, $25. Folks, I'm a sucker for the store exclusive Unnatural covers. I love the series. I thought thought it was well done. I really hope Mir Candolfo returns and tells another story about Leslie. And I love the way Image promoted this. I think this is one of the most attractive series for the obsessive collector that has been put on the market in the last year or so. So anyway, I can't even tell you how many of these store exclusives I bought. I probably spent $400 or $500 on them, which is dumb, I know, but I can't help myself. So anyway, that's what I got this week. I read most of them. I have a couple more I'm going to read tonight. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I bought, and I want to know what you got. Did you get any of the titles I picked? What should I pick up next month that I didn't get this time that you got? Because I like growing my knowledge base. I like reading a lot. I buy a lot of trades, and I consider myself a student of the genre. But anyway, I don't know as much as you do, probably. So leave your comments in the comment field, and thank you for watching. We'll be back next Wednesday with another new Comic Book Day video, and then I'll come back with you next Thursday to tell you what I got. Till next time, I'm Charles Morgan from Comic Week. Happy reading. Thank you.